I still remember the first time I saw Riddle. Before anyone told me his story, I could already tell he had been through more than any horse should ever have to endure. My first thought was simply, how did he get to this point? Riddle had been brought to us by our animal cruelty task force after they removed him from a neglect case. The moment he stepped off the trailer, we could see how serious his condition was. He was nearly 700 pounds underweight, and his body had become so weak that he couldn't even stand up on his own.
Good boy.
There was almost no muscle left on him. Every movement looked exhausting, and even trying to lift his head seemed to take all the strength he had. Looking at him, I knew the road ahead would be long, but standing there feeling overwhelmed wasn't going to help him.
He was too weak to even stand. Despite his condition, somehow
Our team gathered around and focused on the only thing that mattered. We needed to keep him alive. Deep down, we all wondered if he would survive, but no one said much about those fears. Instead, we got to work. Those first few days were entirely about getting Riddle through 1 hour at a time. He needed someone with him around the clock, so our staff took turns checking on him day and night. There was never a moment when someone wasn't making sure he was comfortable or watching for even the smallest change. Following our veterinarian's instructions, we introduced food very carefully. His body was too fragile to handle large meals, so everything had to happen slowly. Every bite mattered, and every small step forward felt important. One of the hardest parts came whenever Riddle wanted to lie down. Once he was on the ground, he didn't have enough strength to stand back up by himself. Each time, several of us would gather around him, count together, and carefully lift him onto his feet again. We had cared for horses in similar condition before, and sadly, some of them never found the strength to rise again. They simply stopped trying. Because of those experiences, we couldn't help wondering if Riddle might reach that point too. But Riddle surprised us almost immediately. Every time he went down, he never acted as though he had given up. Instead, he looked at us with those quiet eyes that seemed to say, "I'm ready whenever you are, just help me back up." That determination changed the atmosphere in the barn. We stopped focusing on how thin he looked and started noticing how hard he was fighting. It felt as though Riddle had already decided he wasn't finished yet, and all he needed was a little help to keep moving forward. One thing that stood out from the very beginning was how much he loved people. The moment someone walked into the barn, he would lift his head and watch them come closer. Even after everything he had been through, he still welcomed every bit of kindness with quiet trust. Seeing that gentle spirit made it impossible not to become attached to him. Every member of our staff wanted to spend time with him, whether it was feeding him, checking on him, or simply standing beside him for a few minutes. Before long, Riddle wasn't just another rescue case. He had become part of our family, and we were all hoping for the same ending. As the weeks passed, we finally began seeing the changes we had hoped for. Riddle grew a little stronger each day, and before long he was able to walk without needing us to lift him. Watching him take those steady steps on his own felt like a victory for everyone who had stood beside him. Once he was strong enough, we started taking him outside every day. Our staff gave him gentle baths, brushed his coat, and let him enjoy the fresh air. He stood quietly through it all, soaking up every bit of attention as though he had been waiting for those simple moments his entire life. The more time we spent with him, the more we realized how kind he truly was. Riddle never demanded anything from us. He simply enjoyed being near people, and every gentle touch seemed to bring him a little more confidence. It didn't take long for every member of our team to fall in love with him. Little by little, the weight began to return. His body slowly filled out, his muscles became stronger, and his dull coat was replaced by a healthy shine. Each time I looked at him, I found it harder to believe he was the same horse who had arrived unable to stand on his own. One of my favorite parts of his recovery was watching him explore outside. He would quietly look at the trees, breathe in the fresh air, and take in everything around him. There wasn't anything dramatic about those moments, but you could tell how much they meant to him. Sometimes I'd stop and think about the horse who had first stepped off that trailer. Comparing those memories to the horse standing in front of me now almost didn't seem possible. The difference wasn't just in the way he looked. It was in the way he carried himself, the calm expression in his eyes, and the quiet confidence that had slowly returned.
Don't horsefly.
Looking back, I don't think anyone on our staff ever questioned the long hours we spent caring for him. There were difficult days, sleepless nights, and moments when progress felt painfully slow, but none of us ever regretted being there for him. Watching Riddle recover made every bit of effort worthwhile. For now, Riddle is still with us, enjoying life one day at a time. He spends his days eating well, relaxing in the pasture, and reminding us how far he has come. He has become one of those horses who quietly makes everyone smile without even trying. Our hope is that one day the right family will find him. He deserves a home where he'll be loved, cared for, and never have to wonder where his next meal is coming from again. More than anything, we want him to have the second chance he fought so hard to earn. Riddle's journey reminds me that healing doesn't always happen through big moments. Sometimes it comes through patient care, quiet routines, and people who simply refuse to give up. If you're thinking about adopting or rescuing a horse with special needs, take time to understand the commitment, learn from experienced professionals, and make sure you're ready to give them the care they deserve. And if Riddle's story stayed with you today, we truly appreciate you liking, sharing, and subscribing so we can continue sharing the journeys of animals whose lives are changed by compassion.
Bad love that he deserved from day one. Somebody who can give him